Shoot your arrows! Cooper Kupp plucks it out of the air and gives the Rams the lead. Robert Woods, touchdown! LA! Dog goes crashing into the end zone. Aaron Donald almost beat the football there. Corey Littleton, have yourself a day. Picked off. Marcus Peters coming off the edge, and Ryan will be wrapped up by Clay Matthews. Everett in stride! Wow!
Franklin Myers gets his hand down there.
Leto got a hand on it. Did he pick it? He did!
Racing down the sideline is a key to lead. Gurley for MVP! Touchdown LA!
Picked off by John Johnson.
Well, Dante Fowler, who is able to get to breathe. Greg Zuerlein sends the Rams to the Super Bowl! LA will play for the Lombardi!
Welcome back, guys, to the Downtown Rams podcast. This is episode 198. I'm your host, Jake Ellenbogen. Joining me, as always, is Alexis Kraft. It's another draft season profile, but this time we are going back to the defensive side of the ball. We have a linebacker from Maryland, Tre Watson, coming on. He's a lot of fun, and you are going to love him. So we're going to have him on first, and then following him, we are going to have a defensive back, or rather a guy that really does it all, a Swiss Army knife, if you will, of the Arkansas State defense, Justin Clifton. So hope you guys enjoy. And before we get into it, be sure to, always reminder, be sure to subscribe and leave a review on anywhere you get your podcasts, any platform. And if you like what you hear, be sure to share this around. But without further ado, here's the podcast, so enjoy it. All right, guys, joining us on the podcast, we have Maryland linebacker Tre Watson. How's it going, man? Thanks so much for coming on.
Man, doing good. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, for sure. And just to start this off, we just want to, ask you, how old were you when you got into the game of football, and how did you get into the sport?
Well, I've been playing football since basically they allowed you to play it. My dad played in the NFL in the 90s, and football was just always around. I basically tried every sport there was. Football was just always the one that came naturally. It stuck, and I just enjoyed it the most. But I started flag when I was 5 because they didn't let you play tackle yet. And then that following year at 6, I've been playing tackle football every year since then.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And, growing up, did you have a favorite NFL player?
Yeah, so Michael Vick was always my favorite player. He's always incredible to watch. Most dynamic guy on the field when he was on there. Had the opportunity to go to his camps when I was little, too, and actually was in Sports Illustrated with him in 2005, I believe. So,
wow.
Definitely get to hold on to that for a while.
Yeah, that's awesome. And, a good story for sure. And you originally, so when it came time for you to play in college, you originally committed to the University of Illinois, and then you transferred to Maryland last year. What was the main factor for you in choosing Maryland as your school to transfer to?
Yeah, when I was just moving around, I had some connections from my early years in Illinois that were there, so they kind of put me in touch with them. And the stuff in Maryland kind of just outlined a really, really, really strong role for me there, and I felt like, it was an opportunity for me to come in and play the way I wanted to play and be extremely successful with a good team around me. And I felt like it was just the right opportunity for me. They showed that they were invested in me and were going to give me a great opportunity, so I couldn't pass that part up.
Yeah, and, Tre, I want to ask, how would you describe your college career? Like, what was your college career like?
It was rewarding and certainly a learning experience, but it was tumultuous to say the least. 5 head coaches in as many years, 4 position coaches, 2, scandals, and I lost a teammate this past year. So certainly I wouldn't say it was the ideal college experience, but like I said, there was a lot to learn from, a lot to gain, things that, help you grow as a person and as a football player. And ultimately this last football season was rewarding and I had a lot of fun playing this year. And, kind of finally hit the point that I thought I was capable of reaching.
Yeah, for sure. And that's something I can relate to as well, because I played soccer in college. And whenever people ask me about my experience, a lot happened and it wasn't, as you said, my ideal college experience. But I think it made me a better person and helped me grow a person. And I definitely learned a lot. So I can definitely appreciate that answer. But, regardless, do you have a favorite memory, maybe a favorite game or a favorite play from your time playing college football?
Yeah, no, there's been a lot of really great experiences. This year at Texas, or not at Texas, but playing against Texas was, one of the most exciting games I've ever been a part of. There was a lot of emotion going into it, and then the game itself was intense, back and forth. We had about a 3-hour delay, and then come back out and cap the game off with three straight turnovers. I was able to get an interception, and then we win the game on defense with the interception as well. So it was an amazing game, amazing to be a part of. That was certainly one of my best football memories, especially from college.
Yeah, and just kind of doubling back to, you mentioned that you lost a teammate. My condolences do go out to you, about Jordan McNair. I can't imagine going through anything like that. So I know you mentioned that, and I definitely wanted to, follow up on that. I know that must have been a hard experience to go through. But, kind of moving on, what would you say? Obviously, you played in a, rough, tough conference. Who would you say was the toughest player you went up against?
Yeah, no, I played a lot of definitely a lot of great teams, a lot of great players. Played against some first round draft picks on offensive lines like Ryan Ramczyk versus Wisconsin. Definitely got a lot of respect for his game. Played against Dwayne Haskins this year, and we had an incredible back and forth battle. So a lot of respect for him as well. And then a guy who I just felt was a competitive, slippery dude at running back was Akram Wadley. We played each other in 2016 and 2017. Had a lot of back and forth moments. Had a lot of fun. Got a lot of mutual respect there. You enjoy playing against top competitors, and we certainly had plenty of them in the Big Ten.
Yeah, definitely. And, speaking of tough competitors, you had the opportunity to participate in the East-West Shrine game this year. What was your experience like there?
It was a lot of fun. There's a lot of, great moments in that game. That you start the week off with the hospital visit, which is, very memorable just because it's something that may seem so small, but, you make a huge impression on all those kids who were there. And it's really just, your presence and your smile that makes a difference. So that was big. But as far as the football, playing against your peers who are considered to be the top-notch players, so that's always great. And it was just one more week worth of opportunities to showcase directly in front of scouts and NFL personnel what you could do. So definitely took full advantage of that. Felt like I made the impression I needed to make, and did everything I could do to help push myself forward.
Yeah, of course. And then, later on in the process, you have your pro day. What was that whole thing like, and how well do you feel you did?
Pro day was a lot. It was, it's the buildup of weeks of preparation and literally every day doing the same thing over and over again, just so you can be successful in a couple tests that last, 4 to 5 seconds at most. But, I feel I did well. I hit a couple personal bests in different drills. My short shot, I'm, really happy about at 4.14. My 40, I hit the goal I needed to make, which was, low to mid 4.7s. Everything I had was, 4.73 to 4.75 range. Sorry about the yelling. But, it went well overall. So, got to enjoy that and did well in the football drills, which, translates most of the game, which I feel like that's just the area that I know I'm going to excel on the football field ultimately. And pro day was just another box checked off.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome. And I'm just curious, in your opinion, what is your biggest strength as a player?
I think it's just at the linebacker position, you're asked to do so many different things. You have to be stout at run support. You have to be able to shed blocks, make tackles. And then in the pass game, you have to be disruptive and someone who can be able to stay on the field on third downs instead of putting extra DBs in the game, so that teams can count on you to make plays against, tight ends, running backs, and then underneath zone coverages. But I feel like I'm a really well-rounded player. If you ask me one thing by itself, I'd probably just say I'm one of the best tacklers you're going to find, especially in this draft class. That's something that kind of gets lost in terms of, evaluating guys, looking at speed numbers and size and all these things. But you can't get guys on the ground. You definitely can't play linebacker in the NFL. So, I'm someone who does that consistently, does that with a lot of violence, and can be counted on to make tackles when needed.
Yeah, and going to the NFL, what's one area you're looking to improve in?
One big thing is always just going to be continuing to, improve those athletic traits as much as I can. Be stronger, be faster, be more flexible. I feel like that really helps, especially being able to move around in tight spaces. And then just being able to find ways to get off blocks. I'm someone who's a physical and violent player. I look for contact a lot. But being able to add diversity to your moves, being able to dip and bend past guys, swat their hands away so that they can't even really get their hands on you sometimes, just helps, find more ways to get to the ball faster. And, you get to the ball, you make plays. So that's something I definitely want to continue to do and add to my repertoire.
Yeah, definitely. And, what is one thing you bring to the table that no one else at the linebacker position does in this draft?
It's kind of what I hit on before. You'll find guys who are, great athletes, run sideline to sideline. They might be a little smaller sometimes. You'll find guys who are big thumpers, but can be liabilities in the passing game. But I'll tell you right now, you're not going to find a linebacker who has the diversity of film that I have. Being able to shed blocks, destroy offensive linemen on any type of run play, making plays at the backfield or in the backfield at the line of scrimmage, being a violent tackler, and then in the passing game, being able to manipulate routes, manipulate zones, and get interceptions that turn those into scoring opportunities for your team. That's something that I apologize for the noise again, but being able to do anything that's possible as a player, that's something that I pride myself on, and I doubt you're going to find very many guys who can do what I can do.
Yeah, and if there's anyone that answers this question, anyone that comes to mind, let us know. But who is one player, if applicable, that you've kind of modeled your game after, or if there's a collection of players that you've kind of patterned your game after?
I've been asked that a lot. Like I kind of just described, I kind of try to fit my own mold, be a player who can do a lot of different things, more than just necessarily what is asked of them, generally. But guys like, Patrick Willis is a linebacker position who are just, incredibly aggressive, looking to literally break you down every time they're on the field. He was exciting to watch. Luke Kuechly is someone who literally at any point in time, he's liable to make a play, and it can be in any facet of the game. Even Tyrann Mathieu, not at the linebacker position, but someone who, anytime he's on the field, you got to watch him because, he can literally take the ball right out of your hands. And that's something that, I definitely want to be able to do and have always looked to just emulate small parts of that. But like I said, be my own player at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. And this next question is one that we like to ask defensive guys because we're always curious to hear their answer. It's just kind of a fun question. But is there anyone who you would most like to sack in the NFL?
To sack? That's a good question. There's some pretty amazing quarterbacks in the NFL right now. Some dudes are probably pretty hard to tackle, like Cam Newton. But I look forward to any talent. But to be able to say you tackle, Tom Brady, the quarterback with the most Super Bowls of all time, that'd be pretty amazing. Maybe we'll be on the same team, so I won't have to worry about that then. But if not, then I'll list him for next.
Yeah, and you sure won't be sacking him, even if you are on the same team, because I think they pretty much have him locked up, I'd imagine, in practice.
Yep, exactly. So definitely won't be doing that unless I get a chance to be on the opposite sideline.
I hear you there. So, we are a Rams podcast, so I have to ask you, have you met or, spoken with the Los Angeles Rams so far in this process? Yeah,
so I think these were Shrine game. I spoke to multiple scouts from the Rams. They definitely had a lot to say, and I know that several had been out to watch us at practice and at games throughout the season as well. They didn't really get a chance to speak to them then, but just, know they were in attendance. But, the Rams are definitely, team coming off of a Super Bowl appearance, so I certainly would really embrace the opportunity. They got an amazing team, and especially on the defensive end, who wouldn't want to play behind a defensive line like that with some of the most dominant guys in the league? And then behind you, you have some of the best cover guys in the league. You can't really ask for more as a linebacker. Should be plenty of opportunities to make plays. So I definitely look forward to an opportunity with them.
Yeah, well, we love to hear that because, obviously, we are Rams fans, but we also are big fans of you, and we'd love to see you end up a Ram. But no matter where you end up, we're going to follow you and follow your career and continue to be fans of you because we really believe that you're going to have a great career in the NFL. So we look forward to watching what you do. And to kind of wrap this up, in your own words, who is Tre Watson as a player and who is he as a person?
Yeah, I think, for me, it's just those two go one and the same. I think I don't become a different person on the field. I might be a lot more aggressive and violent, which is perfect because that's a good outlet for that, where you can't get in trouble for being that kind of person. But, I'm someone who's going to be competitive in everything I do. I always have been and I always will be. It doesn't matter whether it's, the all-time championship of football games or we're playing in the backyard, the competitive nature is going to come out, and that's just natural. So that's how I am with everything. Other than that, though, I'm just they keep yelling. But just someone who can be accountable, can be relied on to be where I need to be when I need to be there. You're not going to have to worry about me, with any issue. And it's someone who's just going to find a way to, make an impact, especially on the football field. And just as a person, as big as I guess some people may say I am, or intimidating as I may seem, I'm pretty relaxed most of the time. I tend to be that way, like I said, unless it's something competitive. So that's really just who I am.
Hey, we love it, Tre. We really appreciate you coming on. We really respect you as a player and a person. So it's been, a lot of fun, getting the interview with you. And, just stay healthy, man. It's coming. Your time is coming. We'll be rooting for you the rest of the way, regardless if you're a Ram or not. Just, stay healthy. Good luck. And, let's keep in touch.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. Much appreciated.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tre.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, guys, joining the show, we have Arkansas State defensive back Justin Clifton. How's it going, man? Thanks so much for coming on.
Hey, I was going good. I'm glad you guys invited me on.
Yeah, of course. We're excited to talk to you. And just to start this off, I'm just curious, how old were you when you started playing football, and how did you get into the sport?
Yeah, I started at age 5, maybe 6. I basically started playing from watching TV, and because all my dad played football, going JUCO, and he was a big football watcher. And then my mom loves football; she's a big Titans fan. So I know that ain't the Rams, but but she was a big Titans fan, and all my family just loved football, so we all just watched it, and then from there went to going outside playing to end up playing Pop Warner, or some people call it Pee Wee or whatever. And I just fell in love with the game since then.
Yeah, of course. And was there a favorite player, growing up that you might have had, coming from the NFL?
Growing up for me, I would probably have to say a player that I always liked to watch would be Ed Reed. And then now in today's time, a player that I do like to watch a lot today is Tyrann Mathieu.
Well, they're both great players, that's for sure. Definitely good picks. But then obviously grew up playing football, and then it was time for you to choose a college to play at. What was the main factor for you in choosing to play at Arkansas State?
So basically, obviously, I was basically coming out of Tupelo, so I remember Arkansas State coming to campus in Tupelo, and I remember coming and talking to me, and they was like, "Yeah, we want to get you down to Arkansas State. Yeah, you should look around and stuff before we offer you and all that." And I'm like, Arkansas State, and I was like, first thing popped in my head is the Razorbacks, but obviously not. I get down here and I'm like, man, I didn't even know this place was out here. And I came and I took a visit in there, and I fell in love instantly. The coaches out here was top notch. The core values that they have and their culture out here is all the way everything that a kid needs. As far as faith, family, football, it's one of those deals that they really, really harp on having faith and having fun when you're playing a sport that you love. And then actually becoming a family as a team and as a coaching staff as well. So it really just bought in. It's like it kind of like sell itself. They really do a good job of just being authentic.
Yeah, no, that sounds awesome, man. That's really cool, and I always love to see how guys pick their school and really like what led them to it, because I know other teams were in the neighborhood of also recruiting you, Middle Tennessee, Southern Miss, and Louisiana Lafayette, I believe. So. So I think that's really cool to kind of see how that came together. But, you start, your first year, you start one game, you play 10 games, 2015. You suffer a season-ending injury. What was that whole, first year like for you? And how important was it to, obviously you never want to go through an injury, but how big was that to go through that injury and then, show to everybody that basically you can come back from it and you only just continue to get better in college?
Yeah, so just showing up here first, I remember my first week here, we show up in I think it was like May 30th, and freshmen had to show up a little earlier to get moved in the room and stuff, and literally the first week, the first day I get here, it's like team week, and I'm like, oh man, this is serious. So we get here, and they talking to us and all that, and then immediately, like, this is a culture deal that just happens at a state. Immediately from there, the guy that was starting in my position, the senior, named Charles Gurley, he immediately took me in, and I was like his little brother. So it was like it was just an innate deal where the players just do, the older guys just do that. They take you in and they teach you automatically. They're not worried about you taking their spot or anything. They just do it. And in turn, when I got older, I did it as well. So he gets me, he teaches me and all that, and I'm playing throughout the season, and I'm having a blast doing it. And of course, I'm still trying to get better and get better at my craft as far as transitioning from high school to college. And there's a lot of things I did learn that first year, and it was I hated that the season ended the way it did. But I think it pushed me and motivated me more even my sophomore year, because when I went back and watched the clips and watched the film of the game, if I would have just made one better read, the injury probably would have never happened in the first place. So it's just little things like that.
Yeah, definitely. And, you did have a really successful career in college. You had, going into the 2018 season, you had 23 passes defended, which was the most among all Sunbelt players entering that 2018 season. And then your senior year, you were tabbed as the best overall defensive player in the Sunbelt Conference by SB Nation. What did it mean to you to have such a successful senior year and to kind of go out with a bang?
It meant a lot, but I think it really went down to me. It really just basically professed how much I've actually worked. And not only that, just how much the coaches and my teammates actually really helped me throughout the way. Because honestly, none of it would happen without the players I go against every day. We have like a star-studded wide receiver core that I have to guard every single day. So them pushing me, and then not only that, the running back that we had, Warren, him pushing me, like having to tackle him, and he's like maybe 5'4", 5'5", the smallest guy in the world, but that's one of the strongest dudes you ever meet. So like, just knowing that I didn't get there by myself is really just the most thing I look back on. When I look back at all the accolades, I just know, like, I can see a person in each accolade that I know helped me get along the way.
Yeah, and Justin, we have to ask you, because, I mean, we didn't have Javon Roland-Jones on last year, but we know he was definitely a player and was definitely on my radar. But we also had, Ronheen Bingham on here, and I just want to get your take on what it was like to play with those two guys.
Yeah, man, that's a hard comparison right there, man, because both of the guys were tremendous players. Both of the guys were great leaders, and they went out and you could really see the fruit of their work. Starting with Javon Roland-Jones, when I got here, Jerome Goes was basically the guy. They stayed along with a guy named Jay McKissick. So those two guys were really like top of the top. And it was like no matter what they threw at Jones, double teams, everything, he was back there at the quarterback every time. So, but he would literally work there every day at practice. So, and then like not only that, he would harp on it to other guys. It was funny. Me and Jones was actually locker mates. Like he was right beside me in the locker, and we would talk all the time. And he would just tell me things to motivate me and all that. So Jones was a good friend as well. And then Bingham, when Bingham got here, he was under Jones. So Jones was teaching him things and all that. And then, of course, Bingham, he learned fast when he got here. And immediately he's unstoppable. He gets to the quarterback like crazy. And he picks up the leadership roles as well and basically does tremendous deals and ended up getting I can't even count how many sacks he got or pass series. It was just he was always harassing the quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's probably hard to pick because I know just that you have probably so many great memories from your time playing college football and a lot of favorite plays and things like that. But if you had to pick a favorite game or favorite play or just a favorite memory from your time playing college football, what would that be?
Favorite play, I'll give you a favorite play and a favorite memory. A favorite play would be it was a busted coverage and I chased the guy down and right before he crossed the end zone, I stripped the ball out from him. And it was so crazy. The play was so crazy that somewhere in the mix of doing all that, somebody, one of the refs blew the whistle. So, I did all day running, ran all the way down there, stripped the ball, got the ball, everybody started celebrating. They was like, yeah, we blew the whistle already, so we're just going to take the ball down. Right? I was like, wow. And then I would say favorite memory would be it's kind of goes to fall camp. We was in fall camp, and coach comes in, after practice, as he goes with the team up, he just choose everybody out. And he's like, you know what? We was on the game field. He's like, you know what? Everybody goes to the practice field. And I'm like, dang, this is my first year here. The older guys, they knew what was going on. He does it every year. But for the freshmen, we're like, man, what happened? We thought we had a good practice. And we get up there, and it's a snow cone truck. It's water slides and all that. And we're out there having a blast. So little things like that we would do all the time is I would say one of the best memories, just being able to have fun with your teammates.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. Who would you say is the toughest, or if there's a more than one name, obviously, you're not limited to just one, but who would you say are the toughest players you went up against while in college?
One person I think I enjoyed going against.
Who you think is probably one of the toughest guys you went up against?
Okay. I would have to say Marcus Green. Marcus Green played for, I did go up against, I went against a lot of people.
It probably is hard to pick. I mean, like you mentioned, you played a tough conference, but
right. But also when we played against Alabama.
I was going to say Ron Heen mentioned Jonah Williams. So.
Yeah. So and then for me, there was a lot of times I was going against Jardy, and the guy's super fast for sure. The whole I would be on the slot receiver most of the time, and having to cover him around the field was a great challenge as well. Yeah,
definitely, for sure. And this next question is something that I like to ask because I'm curious to know the answer, if there is an answer. Is there anyone that anyone whose game that you looked at and tried to put into your own game? Anyone you modeled your game after, or who you kind of tried to look at things that they did in their gameplay and incorporate it into your own?
Yeah, as I stated earlier, Tyrann Mathieu. when I came out of high school, I wasn't just like the biggest guy ever. I mean, I wasn't as small as Tyrann Mathieu, but just like the real Tyrann Mathieu, which is why they call him the Honey Badger. Like just seeing him play, and even in high school when he was playing for, even in high school I was watching him, and when he was playing for LSU. Like the guy was tenacious, always getting to the ball, always causing some type of disruption as far as forced fumbles or interceptions or strip sacks. So just trying to do anything I can to like imitate what he does. He was one of those guys that also, as like he got in the NFL, that you could see him talking and like he would give back to his community. So just those things that I always try to remember as I'm playing the sport, because I always believe that it's fun to play sport, but also there's a lot of things that you can give back as well. And I see Tyrann Mathieu doing that time and time again.
Yeah, I want to ask you, Justin, you're an interesting prospect because I kind of feel like you can play all over the field, kind of like a Swiss Army knife. So I guess in that regard, I want to ask you, what position are you most comfortable playing? Because, I mean, I know you could play nickel. You could probably play any of the safety positions. You could probably play corner. You could probably play linebacker in today's, day and age with, the money backer role. So, where are you most comfortable?
Where am I most comfortable? I believe I would say strong safety, because strong safety is usually a strong safety that kind of roll down sometimes, and then from time to time they'll stay up and be in back as far as maybe quarters or some sort. But that position, I would say I'm very comfortable there. And like you were saying, and the other position that I would say I'm very strong in is basically the nickelback position, just sitting there. The guy that's like the open field tackler, that's in that sweet spot between linebacker and safety. So those two positions for sure. And of course, like you said, I've been in lots of packages where I'm like playing in the box, playing actual linebacker and running pressures and doing all type of stuff. So, but as far as the most comfortable, I would definitely say a strong safety.
What would you consider your biggest strength as a player to be?
I would say my biggest strength is I would have to say just will. When I don't know, when I get a task, it's just I just have to get it done. I just like it's like as soon as I get it, I'm like, okay, I got to get this done. I don't care how I get it done, I got to get it done no matter what. And then from there, it just drives everything else I do as far as film studying and just knowing my opponent, knowing what I got to do. That's why I say will, because once I get what I have to do, it's just I'll do anything I can to obtain it or to conquer it.
Yeah, I love that, man, 100%. I want to ask, going into the next level, what's that one area in your game that you're looking to improve on?
For sure, I'm still improving on my basically man-to-man technique. I know that's one deal that they'll be looking at to see if I can cover one-on-one, which I've had tons of games where it's like, look, they come in the week before and they're like, look, we just want you to cover the number 2 receiver the entire game. So I mean, so they know I can do some of it, but I don't think they know that I can do a lot of it. So that's one deal that I do continue to prove on. And I think that's the main one.
Yeah, and this next question is just kind of a fun question that we like to ask defensive guys who come on the show, because we're just curious to know what your answer is. But what wide receiver would you most want to cover in the NFL?
Oh, okay. I had someone ask me this question the other day. I couldn't give just one, so I'm going to give you two. I say two. The first one I would say is Edelman. because everybody says like Edelman like just can't be touched. Like he's like just unstoppable. And I was like, man, I would love to go at Edelman. You know, because I'm like one of those guys that's always up for a challenge, and so like Edelman would definitely be up there. And then 2 would be Julio Jones. Julio Jones because Julio Jones because basically, I mean, like I said, just like Edelman, it's a challenge. I just love challenges.
Yeah, I think those are definitely some good picks there for sure. I want to ask you, still sticking with this this fun, question time. Which quarterback do you most want to pick off in the NFL?
Ooh, Tom Brady, of course. I mean, why not? I mean, it's the GOAT. Like, who could say they haven't? Like, who get bragging rights when you pick out Tom Brady, man?
Yeah, that's a really popular answer, but rightfully so, obviously, because he's arguably the greatest, of all time. But, we are a Los Angeles Rams podcast, so we ask every prospect that comes on our show, have you met or talked to the Los Angeles Rams yet?
I talked to them when they came down for Pro Day and stuff, and basically they told me they like what they saw at Pro Day and got my agent's information, and they said they'll basically stay in contact. So that's the last time I talked to them.
Yeah, no, we love to hear that. Obviously we're a big fan of your game. We also are a big fan of your teammates' game, Bingham. So, hopefully that you both there, got a lot of interest from them, and, I guess we'll see, as draft approaches. But no matter where you go, we'll definitely be rooting for you, no matter what.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
Yeah, definitely. And just to wrap it up, in your own words, who is Justin Clifton as a player and who is he as a person?
As a player and as a person, first thing I would say is I'm definitely a wholehearted follower in Christ. I never let what I do on the field or even off the field just mess up my walk. So I try to definitely follow Jesus here with everything. As far as me as how I'm outside the field, man, I'm the guy that loves to that loves to go out and adventurous person. I love to bond with my teammates, and but also I'm that guy when it's time to work, it's time to work. I know how to do both of them. So just all in general, I live by the motto of what Inky Johnson would say, in the bucket. When you're going to do something, do it 100%. And lastly, also live by a deal I call BTY, is basically bigger than you. I always try to emphasize to the guys here that's at A-State that no matter what you do, whatever this game, whatever life, whatever you do in life, just remember it's always bigger than you. A lot of people try to get things for themselves and stuff. But at the end of the day, we have a bigger purpose than just pride and selfishness. So going throughout the day knowing that everything is bigger than me is not even about me half the time. So that's just me in a nutshell.
I really love that answer. I agree 100%, man. Sometimes people get so caught up in just being, the center of attention, and, people will, kind of, sell their own morals just to, continue that mission of whatever the mission really is. But, really appreciate you coming on. Very real. We definitely had a blast, speaking with you, and we loved your buddy Bingham as well. So Arkansas State put out some talent. Definitely gonna have some jersey swaps in the NFL soon. So, that'll be cool. Get that whole team going. I think Javon was on the Rams a little bit last year, so we do know about him as well. And I think obviously the more and more you guys start churning out the talent, more guys are going to come there, and you're going to all of a sudden have a bunch of Arkansas State guys, and it starts with you guys. So it's pretty cool. But man, we wish you the best of luck. Regardless whether you're wearing horns or even that Patriots logo, we'll be pulling for you, man. Just know that, and let's stay in touch.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for having me on. I enjoy you guys spending time with me as well, man.